All right, so your Red Sea is designed for you to focus more on God and not what's around you. So when we look at the Israelites when they were, when they were trying to get out of Egypt, and God said, they were going towards the Red Sea. It didn't feel so good. But when they went through the Red Sea, they had to focus more on God. They couldn't look to the left. They couldn't look to the right because it was water on both sides. So all they could focus on was going straight. It was either that or it was either go back to Egypt. So they were going to get punished, whatever like that. But let's look at this. A delay is not a denial. And that doesn't always mean that you did something to cause God to delay something. A lot of times people feel like that. Well, I did this. No. Sometimes you got to expect that there's going to be adversity or things coming up against you. Creflo Dollar was watching me. He said, if you refuse to fear, you refuse to fail. And he also said, the day you got saved, there's no failure. So when we look at that, we look at it, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, right? If God be for you, who can be against you? You are more than a conqueror. All things work together for good for those who are called according to his purpose, right? So all of that, what they meant for evil, God will turn for good. So it's all going to work out. So there is no failure in that. So let's get into the scriptures. Exodus 14 and 13. Then Moses said to the people, do not be afraid. Take your stand, be firm and confident. Reading out of Amplified Version. And undismayed. And see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. Verse 14, the Lord will fight for you while you only need to keep silent and remain calm. That's why I tell people all the time. A lot of times, we don't always have to really say nothing. In certain instances or to people, we don't always need a reaction. God's going to take care of it. Verse 17, as for me, hear this, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they will go into the sea after them, and I will be glorified and honored through Pharaoh and all the army and his war chariots and horsemen. So what is God saying? God is saying that this lady said it, she said it best. She said that God caused a sidewalk in the Red Sea. And if your enemies try to come after you, they will be destroyed. So it was a sidewalk for you. And if the enemy comes and follows you, it will be a cemetery for them because they will be destroyed. And there are times in life that God will allow a situation to, in a sense, where I guess you could say it kind of gets worse, or, where it looks like, I would say it looks like, not worse. Say it looks like as if the enemy is going to win. But God is saying, no worries, he already got this taken care of. And that's where he wants your enemies to see that who they're dealing with, for they could think they have the advantage. And they don't, that verse 19, the angel of God who has been going in front of the camp of Israel moved and went behind them. So if God is having you go through the Red Sea and, both of the sides are covered and protecting you, the angel will go behind you and protect you. Verse 15, God told them to move towards the sea. So, God may have caused you to go towards a situation that seems like it doesn't make any sense. And now you're waiting on God to respond or answer. So we look at Exodus 13 and 17. Now when Pharaoh had let the people go, God did not lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines, even though it was shorter. For God said that people might change their mind when they see war and return to it. So there's going to be times that God leads us to places that doesn't make any sense. And he could lead us to shorter route, but he wants us to go to a longer route. Why? Because God wants to strengthen our patience. He wants to strengthen our endurance. He wants to, get us to focus more on him and not focus on the situation. Verse 18. Hence God let the people around the way of the wilderness to the Red Sea. So in the Red Sea, we are to gain more patience, in life, and also to understand that, we need God more than ever, and to grow towards him. I know one thing that I learned is that, I need him more and more, but God will give you signs, and even that you're maybe at your Red Sea right now, just know that God wouldn't leave you there and just not do anything for you, but through that, it's learning how to deal with people, learning how to deal with life when situations happen. And God wants to give you that perfect peace that passes all understanding. A lot of times we try to look at life from a worldly aspect, and we become frustrated, agitated, irritated, or whatever. And again, we are human, but you can still have peace in the situation and say, you know what, God, you got it. And even when in lifetime, we learn in situations how people are or things are like jobs, I've learned at my job and how some people are just going to be no matter what. I control how the way I react to that. You don't have to act a certain way, and even dealing with customers, people are like, I don't know how y'all doing. Y'all deal with some ignorant customers, and, I don't take it personal. You know what I'm saying? I understand some people have been done wrong, and not everybody cares, but, I've had great customers, when they come in, they were upset, and at the end they was like, I apologize for the way I acted. And that's God. Like I said, I changed the way I react to people. But you're definitely in this season, at the Red Sea where it don't feel so good. You're going through the Red Sea now, and understand the water didn't part until they walked into the sea. And when you look at it, from left and right, you have the waters how high they were. And then all you can do is focus on going straight. If you look to the left or the right, all you're going to see is water. They probably could have seen some fish or something like that. But, you got to focus on the front and what God is wanting you to do, and to focus on him, because God is leading you. And again, if your enemy decides to come behind you, they're going to be destroyed. But you got to ask yourself, even in difficult situations, Lord, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to tell me? And a lot of times, we want the answer right away, but, God will definitely reveal it to you. When Jeremiah was praying, I think it's Jeremiah 42:10, he had asked God what to do, and God didn't respond for 10 days. So God will show you in due time. I know God has shown me years later, but then you can hold on to the peace and say, you know what, God, you got this. It says in the word that you're going to take care of it. And again, delayed does not mean denial. Sometimes, our feelings, we can say, man, it didn't go like I wanted it to go, man. I feel like I'm not going to get it. God already said he was going to take care of it. And again, it's not anything that you've done, but just wanted to hope that you catch that. Love y'all, and God bless.